In this lesson, we're going to discuss cutting an area out of an object that's very close to a beveled edge. Alright, so if we take a look at what we're going to create here, you can see that we've got this beveled edge right here, and we're going to boolean a cylinder out of it, but we're going to do it very close to this edge. And what you're going to see is you're going to get some really interesting results out of this. Alright, so to start off, let's go ahead and split this. So I'll grab this edge, I'll control right click, split that, we'll go up to our ring here, and we'll change it from relative to multi, so we have 3 even faces here. We'll grab those faces, and I'm going to go ahead and move them up, and I'll just snap them to this corner right here. Alright, in order to boolean this cylinder out of here, we know we're going to need a center line, so I'll grab that edge and I'll hit G to do that function again. Alright, now let's go ahead and grab a cylinder, so create polygon cylinder, or I have it on my shelf up here as well. We'll turn wireframe unshaded on, and we'll get this snapped up here. Alright, we'll change this to 20 or to 8 from 20, as we always do. And I think I'll turn wireframe back on again so I can see what I'm doing here. Let's go to our side view, and we'll get this roughly the same size. And let's go ahead and pull that back just a little bit. And we'll go ahead and hit 1 on this one. We want to get the same basic distance in here. And we can always go to this view as well. Alright, that looks good. Alright, so the first thing that I want to do is I want to align this geometry. So I'm going to grab this edge, get it moving in this direction, and then I'll middle mouse wiggle over this point right here, so that when we do our Boolean, we have our cross pieces that are falling straight onto these ones right here. Alright, so let's grab our object, we'll shift select our cutting object, and we'll do a mesh booleans difference. Okay, we'll go over to our Boolean node, and we'll change the classification from normal to edge, and that'll bring back all of this information. And then let's go in here and fix the pole on this one. Before I do that, I think I'm going to go ahead and put a Lambert on this, just so I can see it a little bit better without the highlight on there. And we'll go to Mesh Tools, grab our Multi-Cut tool, and I'll hold Shift down on these. And we'll snap all these to 30 or 70, whichever one it gives us. So we'll go there, that one, and finally that one. And now we can go in and we can delete every other edge in here. So we got rid of that pole, we got rid of the triangles in there. Alright, we have basically everything we need. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one, I'm going to go ahead and Shift D to duplicate it, and I'm going to bring that one over there. We're going to do this one 2 different ways again, just like we did on 2 lessons previous. So I'm going to grab my Multi-Cut tool, and I have to be on this object, so I'll hit the G key to go back into that tool, and I'll hit enter after every time I do this. Rotate around there, and we'll go like that. Alright, so that one's nice and clean. Now let's go over to this one, and we're going to do something a little bit different on this one. Like I said, very similar to what we did a couple lessons ago, where rather than going from the corners, we went out like this, keeping nice parallel lines. Undo that one, and we'll bring that to there. Bring that one out to there, and then finally we need to bring these all the way down. All right, so we have quads for everything. Let's go in and straighten these up a little bit. So we'll snap to point on all of those, getting them nice and straight in there. And we'll do the same for these. All right, so there's our two objects. Now, let's go in and we'll do our bevels on these. So we'll grab those interior edges. And we'll go ahead and go to Edit Mesh. And we'll put a bevel on there. We'll do 2 segments. And we'll do a fraction of maybe 0.2. Maybe 0.15. That looks pretty close. All right, then we'll come over to this one. We'll grab all these edges and all the ones in the center as well. And let's go ahead and do a bevel on that one. We'll do 2 segments, and for the fraction, 0.15. Let's take both of these and we'll go ahead and right click, go down to Assign Existing Material, and we'll put our blend on there. Turn wireframe on shaded off and we'll hit the 3 key. So again here we can see that by going this method we kept our corner. We didn't round out the corner. And what you're going to see here is you're going to get a very different result on these corners. Now before we do this, we need to hold this corner just a little bit more in order to really be able to see it. So let's hit 1 on that, and let's do a bevel on these corners. If we want to, you could actually go in and I think I just made this one live by mistake. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go pull up my status line, and you can see it is. I could tell because it was green. A lot of times if I right click, you can make it live right there. I tend to hit that every once in a while. So if you run across that, that's actually what's going on. All right, so the 2 of these, we're going to add a bevel right here on this edge. So let's go ahead and bevel that. Again, we'll put a couple of segments there and we'll make it a bit smaller, maybe about 0.2. Maybe 0.15 again. Okay, we'll come to this one and we'll grab that edge, hit the G key to do the same thing again, and we'll put 2 segments in there and we'll do 0.15. Now you can see by doing this we did create a little bit of a mess on this one, and that's okay. And the reason that we have this mess on here is because of this edge right here. Not a big deal to clean it up. What we need to do is we just need to select those edges and delete them. And then actually we'll back up a little bit. I just thought of an easier way to do this. We'll grab these edges. We'll go ahead and just delete them now, and we'll do our bevel and then we'll just come back. Rather than trying to clean that information up, this is just easier. All right, so we'll go ahead and bevel that, and we'll do 2 segments, 0.15. And it looks like that one is a little bit bigger than this one. So let's turn wireframe on shaded. See if we can't match this up fairly close. 0.1, maybe 0.06. That looks pretty close. Okay, so we got that. Now we can go in and grab our multi-cut tool and bring this back to that corner. And we can bring this one to that corner. So that was a much easier method than trying to do it the way we were doing it, which basically was trying to do it with this edge going to the corner. So that wasn't working out too well. Now we do have extra faces here, and we'll really be able to see those if we hit the 3 key. So that's it right there. Grab that one, we'll delete those, and then over here finally we'll grab those and delete. Now let's see what we have. Alright, now what you're going to see is the closer that this gets to that bevel, the more of a problem that we're going to have. And the problem that we're going to get is this line right here. Notice how it's kind of bending, and this one is maintaining nice and straight. We do again have this area where we're holding the corner here, so this is better right here as opposed to this, but this curve that we're getting here could be a potential problem. Let's go to our top view and let's grab all of these verts, and I'm just going to pull this really close to that bevel right there. Nice and close. All right, let's go over here and do the same. And we'll pull that nice and close right there. All right, so back here, let's go ahead and hit the 3 key. And you can see that we have just a little bit of an artifact on that one. Let's look at these ones up here as well. Now you can see it on this one right there. There's that kind of bend in that surface right there. And so if you take a look at these, this one was actually done the way that we just did that. And I did this one a little bit different. You'll notice that I did run some edges right through here. And so if we wanted to do that, we would just run right through there and then connect those, but it doesn't really matter. You see, this actually ends up being just a little bit cleaner if you contain all this information rather than taking this all the way over there. But the point here is once we get really close, you can see a discrepancy in this right here. You can see that bends on that a little bit, and this is nice and straight. So again, clicking on the object and hitting 3 is always going to give us a good indication of what's going on in that surface. We have a nice straight line here, and we have a bend in the line right there. We have a nice straight line there, and we have a bend in it right there. The bend is stretching out a little bit more on this one than it is on this one, but it's still there nonetheless. Alright, so in this lesson we've kind of taken a look at 2 different ways to cut out a shape in an object when it's really, really close to a beveled edge, and the methods that we can go through to fix that information. See you in the next lesson.